You also mentioned Kanari Wilcher, the wide receiver. He leads the team in receiving, 316 on the year. But no other receiver is listed on the top 25. Who are some guys in that wideout room who have the potential to step up and help RJ out, and not to mention keep Jackson State's defense honest?
Yeah, well, Goldie Lawrence, who he had that big game against Southern, he had four receptions, 95 yards, and that 74-yard uh, touchdown. Then of course Wilcher, Miles Campbell, he's a tight end. He's also really dangerous with the ball. Like he against Albany State, he was definitely an effective weapon there, and he really attacked the middle of the field. Jordan Edwards, um, he's someone that could step up. He had a really big game against Florida and Atlantic, and scored a touchdown. And Jamar Taylor, he had a big touchdown against Alcorn State on a bubble screen. And our Armand Burris, who is actually the son of our OC, he's someone that can fly as well. And then Ace Cobb, he's another guy that can fly, and same with Jalen Rogers. And with Jalen, he's a slot guy, and he can go deep. Like he's got that pure speed. But I would say, I know it's about receivers, but the position that really stands out to me is Miles Campbell at the tight end role, because he's definitely someone that can pose matchup problems as well. I mean, because he's fast for a tight end. He's big, and if you get a big fast tight end on a linebacker that isn't fast, that could be a place that FAMU could exploit.
Mm-hmm. FAMU's offensive line has given up 16 sacks on the season. How big of a concern has that been? Is that something that Coach Cozy has expressed frustration over, like publicly in interviews, or something that he's been asked about a lot?
I think that it's just a work in progress each week. And one thing that I would think that, I mean, the last game he was only sacked twice. So I would say if you looked at the tape, RJ's getting the ball out much quicker than he was at the beginning of the year. Like if you hold on to the ball, what's going to happen? You're going to get sacked.
You're going to get sacked.
Yeah. So I think that he's done a better job of getting the ball out, and I mean that's really been evident the past two games. So I think it's not really more. I mean, we have a really good O line that is experienced. So if they hold their blocks for as long as they need to for RJ to get the ball out to one of his playmakers, then that's all you can ask. And the last two games, I really think he did a good job of doing that. Like, he just gets rid of the ball and then get a first down and go to the next play.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have two preseason all-SWAC selections on the offensive line, Charles Davis and Ashton Grable, who's pretty much a household name in the SWAC now. So definitely a solid unit on that offensive line. But let's move over to the defense and talk about a standout on that side, the linebacker, Jason Rouse Jr., who leads the team with 46 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble. What does he mean to the defense, and what can we expect from him?
So Jason, he's listed as a linebacker, but he's 6'1", 190. So he kind of, in that 4-2-5 defense, he's kind of a rover, striker, kind of like, oh, okay, I can step in the box and play linebacker, step back and cover. So he's like a dual threat type of guy. But he flies to the ball. Like he's a transfer from UAB, and here's really something that's interesting about him. So he came here because he wanted to play for our defensive coordinator, who was at UAB last year. Right. So after this football season's over with, he's transferring back to UAB to finish his degree. But he wanted to come and experience, not only to play for Coach Thompson, but he wanted to experience the HBCU lifestyle and what it's like to come to an HBCU. And he's definitely someone that he's fast, he's quick, he gets to the ball, and he's a leader, and he just gets the job done.
Yeah. Any other names on the defense that JSU fans can expect to hear a lot Saturday?
Justice Cross, he's a linebacker. He flies the ball well. He's a transfer from FAU. Brian Norris, also a linebacker. Corey Collar Jr., he's a DB. He's a transfer from Nebraska. So we got speed in the secondary. We got speed at linebacker. We have Cameron Donald on the defensive line. He really anchors that front four. He does a really good job of just taking on blocks and letting the linebackers go in and make the tackles. And just overall, I'd say the defense. Like if you look at the scoreboard, yeah, they gave up some points against Southern, but also that was Fred McNair running that offense. So we all know what a Fred McNair offense can do. But that defense is a bend but don't break, and they come up with big plays. They'll force a fumble, get an interception, and they're big up front, fast at linebacker, fast in the secondary, and their experience as well. I mean, I have to mention Jamil Sanders as well. He's a cornerback. TJ Huggins, he's 6'2", 6'3", 190, and he is a DB you do not want to throw a 50-50 ball up to because he might come down with it. He's tall, he's lanky, he's probably going to play in the NFL. He's probably going to get drafted if I was to guess, or at least have a chance. And they're just a solid unit that, in this day of college sports, offenses are going to score points because the rules are kind of, they just geared towards offense. And that's, I think, is a bad rap on defenses at times. Like back in the day, like if you gave up 250 yards on offense, or if you gave up 250 yards to the opposing offense, like, oh man, that defense is very good. But now, hold offense under 300 yards, they're like, okay, great job. So I would say that yes, offenses are gonna put some yards up and score some points because that's what the era we're in. But this defense is they're built for the moment, and they if they give up a big play, they're going to forget about it and they're going to go to the next one. Coach Colsey, he's a defensive coach too, so his mentality kind of falls in that as well. And Coach Thompson, he does a great job of getting the guys ready each week.
Yeah, TJ Huggins, James Gardner, and Jamil Sanders, all conference selections. So obviously they can get the job done. Not to mention Nayron Jenkins on that D line. But of those units, you mentioned they're big up front, they're fast at linebacker, they're fast in the secondary. If you had to pick one unit that stands out as the strength of the defense, what would it be?
Secondary.
Okay.
Because they just got there's so much speed, and they're just like when you look at the field and like you're like, all right, they passed the eyeball test.
Yeah.
When I've gone to practice or during camp and I've seen, I go to the different stations and the DBs just look different. So I mean, they just they're a lot of them are transfers from the FBS level, and you can tell.
And you have a couple special guys over there on special teams as well. Bobby Englers, the punter, he's number 1 in the SWAC in punting and number 18 in the country at 44 yards of punt. Then the kicker, Daniel Porto, SWAC Special Teams Player of the Week in back-to-back weeks, and he's number 1 in the SWAC in field goals, has a long of 51 yards. So how big of a weapon have those two guys been, flipping the field on those punts and then putting points on the board when the offense can't punch it in?
You literally just took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say Bobby does a really good job of flipping the field. And that's what punter's supposed to do. He's done, and he's been consistent. He doesn't have any punts that, go off the side of his foot and go out of bounds or anything like that. So he's really been consistent on special teams there. And Coach Colsey said a couple of times, especially earlier in the season, he's been the MVP. He's had to punt so much, but the last couple of games he hasn't had to punt. So, but he does a really good job of executing his role. And then Daniel Porto, has a leg, along of 51, and then he is probably if he has a chance to kick it, it's probably going to go in. He's missed a couple. That's going to happen. But if you have a good field goal kicker, I would say once we get into past the 30-yard line, I would say pretty good chance of at least getting a field goal on that drive. And points are points. That's what you want. So obviously you want to finish with a touchdown, but if you can't, then you're able to get those pretty much automatic 3.
How has this team been from a discipline standpoint when you look at penalties and turnovers? Obviously, you can't eliminate those completely, but has that been something that has plagued the team, or for the most part, has it been solid?
They've been really good with that. They're one of the least penalized teams in the SWAC. So, and penalties are going to happen, but they do play composed football, and that is, I would say that goes back to the head coach. That's kind of the head coach's personality and mindset, is on display on a team, and I think that's because of Coach Colsey. That's something that he definitely emphasizes is to play smart, and you see that with the penalties, you see that with the turnovers that we don't have, and that's because of what Coach really instills in the program.
Yeah. Dennis, I know you're in charge of brand advancement, but you're a man who's known to wear many hats. So I want you to take that hat off for a while, and I want you to put that analyst hat on, or even that coach's hat. I want to hear Dennis Driscoll's keys to victory for the FAMU Rattlers against Jackson State this Saturday. What would you say are the do's and don'ts?
The do's and the don'ts. All right, so got to stop the run. Jackson State knows how to run the ball, and they could run it well, especially because we don't know who your quarterback going to be. So if it's not QB1, if it's QB2 or QB3, then I guarantee you, Jackson State's going to run the ball and try to run it, because that's what you're going to do, and it's already a strength. So something that you're definitely going to lean on. So be able to stop the run, and if the quarterback that is in a situation where you're like, okay, they're not experienced, then you blitz that quarterback when they do have to throw. And good things can happen for a defense when you have someone that really hasn't played a lot. You're coming to Tallahassee, coming to the Eastern time zone. Last week you were in the Pacific time zone. Like, it just a lot of things. When you look at it, like, man, like, I'm pretty sure Jack says, like, man, we got to play FAMU now after what happened. So then you come to Tallahassee, and for FAMU to win, you can't turn the ball over, and that's something that we've shown that we can do. Coaches always wanted to run the ball, but stay balanced as well. And you got to let your playmakers make plays. And I would say also the factor is our crowd. It's a 7:00 kickoff, ESPN. This is a buddy. It's a rivalry now. Like, it's definitely, I would say, just compare it to different rivalries that I've been a part in the SWAC. Like, each one has their different aspects of it. Like, I feel like the rivalry between Florida A&M and Alabama State is more of like cousins. And FAMU's a bigger brand than Alabama State. FAMU's fans, I want to say, are more knowledgeable than Alabama State, but they are. And then you look at the other side with Jackson State, very knowledgeable fan base that cares. And when you put it's 1A and 1B, and you can even decide, you could change out which part is the A and which part is the B. Like, you got two programs that are blue bloods. They're used to winning, and if each team does what they want to do well and execute, you're going to have a good game.
So, all right. Coach Dennis Driscoll, were you a coach in another life?
I was.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, great breakdown. I like it. Coach Cozy, are you taking notes?
No.
Bring this man to. Oh, good stuff. So the crowd, they're going to show up, the Rattlers?
Yeah, we expect it to be sold out, 20,000 plus. We have new lights, so you're going to see that, and a little light show. We've only been able to really use it once when we played Albany State, and we'll still do the light show in the afternoon kicks, but just doesn't have the same effect.
No, not at all. It's a different.
I can imagine in the fourth, once it goes from the third to the fourth quarter, and I imagine, either way, whatever the outcome, whatever the status of the game is at that point, that's when we do the light show. Mm-hmm. It's going to be pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. You're going to be, if you're going to be here, you'll be like, wow, I wish we can do that. Mm-hmm. But we all know that you can't do that at your stadium. So
I wouldn't say we can't. I wouldn't say we can't. We have chosen not to. It'll probably be more accurate. But no, we're looking forward to getting back over there. Obviously, the game has been in Miami, and I think we haven't been to Tallahassee in, 7 years or so?
So the last time, it was in 2018.
Okay, 7 years.
It was when FAMU was still in the MEAC, and Tony Hughes was the head coach at Jackson State. And I worked for Jackson State.
Okay, you were at Jackson State then? Okay. And you were at the game?
I was.
Okay.
And FAMU was trying to win the game on a field goal, and they ran out of time.
Yeah, I remember the clock management.
Yeah.
Controversy.
I was like, what? So, yeah, that was pretty crazy. Yeah, that was that game was humid. Oh, my God. Like, that was.
I remember. I was there.
Yeah, that was in September, I believe. So I don't expect it to be as humid this weekend, but yeah, that's what happened the last time the game was in Tallahassee.
Yeah, should be a fun one. I think the Jackson State fans. I mean, we're in Las Vegas last week and got to go all the way over the Eastern time zone, but I think we'll be there. We got some fans over in that area on the east of the Mississippi who it's a shorter drive, so they'll make the trip. So should be fun. So 7 o'clock, that's Eastern time. It'll be 6 o'clock for those on Central time, especially those who are watching it on TV, ESPN Plus. And we're looking forward to a fun time in Tallahassee. So Dennis, hey, we appreciate this. Any final words?
Go Rattlers.
And they're gonna do what and what again? Go ahead and end on your little
strike and strike again.
Looking forward to seeing you again, man. Appreciate this.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you Saturday.
All right.
If you enjoy our content and appreciate what we do, kindly consider donating to the channel.